responsibility in an MNC. But first of all, let me introduce me and my teammate. I'm Bintang Nadhiva Balqis with last three digit of MPM is 020, and my partner is Mohammad Yuki Fairuuz with last three digit of MPM is 071. So first of all, this is our learning objective. And the next one is international ethic and social responsibility. International ethic involves the moral choices made by big companies across different countries, such as avoiding child labor, bribery, and environmental harm. Critics argue companies misuse resources and influence government, while others believe they alleviate poverty and improve living conditions. Companies are not prioritizing social responsibility. And the next one is key global ethic issues. The first one is labor right. The labor right. Multinational corporations face ethical challenges in labor rights, particularly in countries like China. Issues include limited worker rights, sweatshop, child labor, and gender discrimination. Despite some effort to improve conditions and collaborate with organizations, challenges persist. Countries like the United Arab Emirates are implementing reforms, but global cooperation is needed for fair treatment and improved working conditions worldwide. And the next one is environmental pollution. Multinational corporations operating across multiple countries can contribute to pollution through weaker environmental regulation, leading to issues like oil spills and harmful chemical release. And the next one is corruption and bribery. Corruption and bribery pose significant challenge for multinational companies worldwide. Corruption occurs when powerless individuals misuse their position for personal gain, while bribery involves giving gifts or money for government action or business advantage. Countries with higher corruption level often spend more on bribery, damaging the economy and trust in government and democracy. The next one is multinational approach to global ethics. The first one is ethical universalism, the belief that morality is relative to the norm of one's culture or society. It means that there are no moral absolutes, no moral right or wrong. The next one is ethical relativism. Is the belief that certain moral principles apply universally to all people, regardless of their cultural or societal differences.
Next one is the pressures supporting ethical universalism. So the first one is the moral language, is the basic ways that people use to think about ethical decisions and to explain their ethical choices. And the basic ways that people use to think about ethical decisions and to explain their ethical choices. And the next one is building the socially responsible company. Corporate social responsibility, or CSR, emphasizes that businesses have a responsibility to society beyond profit, considering the welfare of customers, suppliers, and shareholders. A socially responsible company provides ethical guidance and proactive systems to prevent negative impacts on others, ensuring a positive corporate image. And the next one is the stakeholder analysis. The socially responsible multinational proactively assesses potential consequences of its activities and strategies on stakeholders. To address strategic issues, they conduct regular stakeholder analysis, assessing their influence and impact. And this process starts with identifying stakeholders, considering groups that could impact the company's survival. And the next one is the codes of conduct. Codes of conduct is a specification of appropriate employee behaviors and multinational responsibilities. Codes of conduct communicate a multinational's ethical values to stakeholders, specifying appropriate employee behaviors to inform them of potential unethical situations. And this education reduces incidents of unethical activities and helps the multinational stay legal, avoiding prosecution. And properly implemented codes also help avoid prosecution. And the next one is ethics monitoring and enforcement. The successful ethics program requires monitoring and enforcement from multinationals. Monitoring involves assessing performance and progress, providing valuable benchmarks for assessing employee and company achievement of the code of conduct, and enforcing ethical behavior through rewards and punishments is also crucial. Multinationals should set goals to determine progress in corporate social responsibility and set ethical benchmark to ensure compliance with the code of conduct. And the other key elements of the successful social responsibility multinational is the first one is setting the example at the top. The next one is making ethics part of the multinational strategy. The third one is investing financial resources. The fourth one is involving all employees. The fifth one is communicating. And the last one is establish ethical culture. And the study case that we brought today is the Volkswagen emission scandal. In 2015, Volkswagen installed a software in its diesel vehicles to cheat emissions tests, causing emissions to exceed environmental regulations. The defeat device detected emissions during testing and reduced them to meet regulatory standards. And the scandal raised ethical and environmental concerns, causing backlash from consumers, regulators, and environmental groups. And the Volkswagen faced lawsuits, fines, and a decline in public trust. And the company's reputation was severely tarnished, and the top executives resigned. And the scandal serves as a reminder of the importance of ethical behavior in multinational corporations and the consequences of prioritizing profit over environmental and social responsibility. It underscores the need for robust ethical frameworks, effective governance, and corporate accountability to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Once the world's top automaker, Volkswagen has fallen to number 2. One reason? The company admits it rigged 11 million vehicles worldwide to cheat on emissions tests. Here's a breakdown of the scandal, blow by blow. A group of scientists at West Virginia University discovered that Volkswagen was using software in its diesel cars to cheat on clean air tests. The software detects when the car is being tested. The engine then runs differently, making emissions seem cleaner than they ordinarily are. They find emissions are up to 40 times higher than legal limits, but the company repeatedly denies the claims to U.S. officials. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency announces that Volkswagen was manipulating its diesel cars to score better on emissions tests. Volkswagen admits rigging 500,000 cars in the U.S. to work around emission laws, but the company's problems are bigger than that. It admits the problem is global in scale, affecting 11 million cars worldwide. Amid calls to fix the affected vehicles, VW halts the sale of diesel cars in the U.S. CEO Martin Winterkorn apologizes and resigns. He's replaced by Matthias Müller, the head of VW's Porsche brand. Meanwhile, Volkswagen is hit by endless lawsuits from customers upset that their cars have lost value because of the software. Volkswagen's German headquarters are raided by police in search of incriminating documents as German prosecutors investigate. Volkswagen says they are cooperating, and anyone involved will face the full consequences. Days later, the French and Italian offices are also raided. Plans are announced to start recalling the 8.5 million affected cars across Europe. The company says they will be fixed by the end of 2016. VW cedes its recently won title of world's top automaker to Toyota. Michael Horn, head of Volkswagen in the U.S., testifies to U.S. lawmakers, blaming the scandal on a few engineers. Senior management was not involved, he says. After months of apologizing, VW decides it's time to pay up. The company forks over $500 each to owners of affected cars in the U.S. The gesture cost Volkswagen $250 million, but for some customers, it's no longer enough. They demand a buyback of the rigged vehicles. 9 managers suspected of involvement in the scandal are suspended by the company. Volkswagen says it will set up a fund to compensate owners, tapping mediator Ken Feinberg to decide how much each should get. Another exec is out. This time it's Michael Horn, CEO of Volkswagen Group of America. He resigns. Volkswagen reaches a deal to buy back or fix 500,000 U.S. cars involved in the emissions cheat. The company says the price tag for the crisis is double its original estimate. It sets aside about $18 billion to deal with the cost of the scandal. VW agrees to pay up to $14.7 billion to settle the issue. That's much more than any other automaker has paid for wrongdoing. Most of that money will go to owners of the affected vehicles. In addition to compensation for lost value, Volkswagen will have to either buy back or fix the cars. But this isn't the end of the story. The company still faces civil and criminal investigations.
And for the conclusion is the Volkswagen emissions scandal show how cheating on emissions tests can have big consequences. It damaged the environment and made people question Volkswagen honesty. And they got in trouble with customers, government, and environmental groups. And they had to pay fines and lost people's trust. And the scandal teach us that companies need to be ethical and follow the rules. They should care about the environment, also the society, not just making money. And it reminds us that good ethics, strong rules, and accountability are crucial for preventing such problems in the future. And I think that's it from our group. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.